Greetings and welcome. I'm KatherineOfSky, and today we're going to make one of my favorite meals. We are going to make some steak. Steak, potatoes, and some corn on the side. So I decided to have this steak. We're going to cook it rare, as steaks should be cooked. If you want it killed, you do that at your own risk. I used to like my steaks well done as a child because my mom was like, oh my God, rare steaks are bloody. And no, they're not. They aren't. They really aren't. They have the same juices as any other steak because, you know, when they process the meat, they drain the blood before the customer even gets the steak. So we're going to cook these rare, and it's going to be absolutely exquisite because you get the best flavor when you have rare steak. Now, we're choosing potatoes because they're very Swedish, especially made with dill, like we're going to do today. And then some corn because I just felt like having corn. I really like corn. It's nice and sweet. It's kind of a nice little vegetable that you can have with your meal. So let's get started. Now, this is one of the simplest assemblages of ingredients that I have ever cooked with. You can see we have corn here. Mice is like maize, corn. So it's like corn. I'm very amused by this. We have some dill. This used to be fresh on Wednesday. It's now Friday. I apologize that it's a tiny bit limp, but it still works and I don't want to throw it out. So we're going to use that anyway. And then we have some salt and its companion pepper. And you probably know my pepper grinder by now. And here we have our meat. It's rig beef, which is like a sirloin steak. So that's what that is if you're wanting to buy it. This is a 2-steak pack, I believe. And we're just going to cook both of those steaks. And then we have our potatoes. So these are delicate potatoes from summer, as you see. We talked about potatoes in one of our other videos, where Swedes are very particular about their potatoes, knowing whether they're summer or winter potatoes and how you have different cooking times for each of them. But we're going to prepare these potatoes here with some butter and some dill. All of this lovely dill over here. And we should have a really nice meal. So let's get cooking. So because the beef doesn't take very long to cook, we're going to start with the relatively simple task of just opening these vegetables and putting them in their pots, so we can start them cooking, because these are going to take a lot longer to cook than the steak is. In fact, these can be completely done by the time you start cooking the steak because it doesn't take that long at all. Now I'm going to go ahead and cook the entire packet of this corn, and it really fills up the pot, as you see. However, I'm pretty cool with just having stuff in the fridge just in case I have a sandwich and I want some corn on the side. I'm very, very cool with having leftovers. They make for just nice meals that you don't have to cook. You just reheat them and it's just fine. And the same with the potatoes. That's going to be a little bit too much for our dinner tonight, but it's fine. We're going to have it as leftovers. Now, as you can see, I have filled them with water. I did skip the step up at the sink because that's pretty self-explanatory. But we're going to go ahead and turn these up to power level so that they start boiling. I did fill them with hot water, as I feel like that's pretty efficient to do. So we're going to just turn both of them up to the highest level we got. Then we're going to just add some salt for a little bit of seasoning here. And of course, we're going to season them a little bit later as well. But here we go. All right, and now on to the meat. So you probably noticed my lovely watermelon off to the side there. I bought it today because it was a really good price. So I'm going to get the kitchen scissors and we're going to take this steak and just open it up. I hate this kind of plastic packaging, and it often seems to, it's indicating I should try there, but oh, it is working. Okay. Oh, it's not so bad. Okay, I thought this was going to be like one of those like cell phone packs, and it's like, oh my God, help. But I like to do this over the sink because, as you see, there is a little bit of juice that's coming out of these steaks. And one of my things is I also always like to kind of wash them, and I'm going to wash them in cold water. Okay, we don't want to heat this meat at all. Now this is meat that I've had in the fridge, but I've let it sit out in time for our demonstration here for cooking. So I'm going to go and put these guys, after I wash them, I'm putting them on the cutting board that I have right near the stove. And always remember to rinse off and recycle all your plastics, because we don't want to kill sea turtles in the process of making our own food. Okay, so here we have our steak. It looks absolutely lovely. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pre-season this with salt. Put some salt on there, and I really love a lot of pepper. Now, be aware that if you don't like pepper, you shouldn't put this much pepper, but I absolutely love it. So I just kind of like coat it on. Now, the pots with the vegetables have not started boiling yet, so I'm not even going to start to heat the pan with which we're going to cook these guys. So let's go ahead and turn them over and season the other side. There we go. Getting all that good pepper in here. Again, I recommend fresh cracked pepper. When I was a kid, my mom always bought pepper that was pre-ground, you know, just in a regular pepper container, but it always tasted very blah to me. But now when I became a woodworker, actually, I came into the world of fancy pepper mills, and I'm like, I'll try this. And the flavor is so fragrant. It's so much better than just regular pepper. So anyway, we're going to let this kind of just chill, kind of like marinate a little bit on the cutting board here while our other stuff cooks. All right, so now that both pots are boiling, I'm going to turn them down a little bit. It seems like my stove is like, when one is on power, it can't do power to all of them. It seemed to like one went down to 8, but I kind of switched them around so that they'd start boiling at around the same time. So we're just going to kind of monitor these things and keep them going, but waiting for them is a really great opportunity to do stuff around the kitchen. Now, Matthias and I have a really great system where we don't really care if dishes sit around for a couple of days. What I like to do is, you know, if I'm tired, I just put it on the counter. And then when I have a moment like this, when I'm waiting for stuff to boil or whatever, I just put them in the dishwasher. Or in this case, I was just unloading the entire dishwasher as I'm waiting for stuff to happen. So this is a really great opportunity. Like if you're, you know, teaching your kids how to cook or whatever, like it's like, use time. Don't just stand there and look at your phone. Go ahead and do those dishes and make the kitchen nice and clean so we can have a great time. Okay, so I'm putting our happy friendly chicken timer on 10 minutes right now, and I think that's going to be for the corn. I believe Matthias told me to cook the summer potatoes for around 20 minutes. So when chicken is done at 10 minutes, we'll set it for another, say, 9 or 10 minutes, and then we'll have the potatoes done. But of course, we do have our prickers, so we can check the progress of those things when they're done. Now, as our vegetables are still boiling, I'm going to go ahead and just process this dill. I've got a new cutting board out because the other one is slightly occupied with the steaks. And so we're going to cut up some of this dill for use on the potatoes. So let's go ahead and get our knife for vegetables and stuff and things, which is this lovely flat-bladed one. I think I'm going to cut off the stems generally because that's the kind of harder part of this dill. So let's just take that amount and we're just going to recycle that. That's just fine. And then we can kind of cut this in half, just make it a little bit more convenient for us to chop here. And we're basically looking to just cut it into very small pieces. These are probably like 4 millimeters long, I would guess, or maybe 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch perhaps in imperial units. There we go. So yeah, there we go. And it's very delicate, and be very careful with your fingers, especially at the ends there. You can even just chop the end bits as well. Okay, so there we go. We have nice dill, and this is just going to be for our potatoes. And even though the dill is a couple of days old, it gets wilty real quick. Like I said, I bought this fresh on Wednesday, and it's now Friday, and it looked a little bit limp. But as I was cutting it, I mean, I can smell the aroma of this wonderful plant, and it's still as efficacious. So even if it's a little bit wilty, it doesn't matter. It's going to go on them potatoes, and it's going to be absolutely fabulous. All right, you're just hearing the ends of the happy chicken timer, and we're going to turn off, well, maybe both of them. Let's see. Let's check the potatoes because I'm curious if they're actually done right now as well. Oh, that's a little bit warm. Okay, let me just use the pricker. This is a specialty pricker that Matthias bought for me. Okay, these are not done. I'm putting the pricker in, and like as I'm going through the outer layers, there's a soft part and then there's kind of a firm part on the inside. So we're going to take our friendly little, I hope this is on camera, it's hard to see. Ah yes, our friendly chicken friend. Go all the way back and then go forward, and we'll put it for another 10 minutes for these potatoes. Now, I am going to check this corn as well. All right, I've gotten out a spoon here, and let's see how that works. Be very careful with the steam, by the way. I always tilt it away from me. Oh, we don't want to do that because the stove is going to get unhappy with us. All right, drain out the water. Make sure you blow on it because this was at boiling temperature just moments ago. So we have our corn. Nope. I think the corn needs a little bit longer as well. So maybe we'll say, another 10 minutes actually, because the corn is still a little bit hard. It's like crunchy, and it really shouldn't be like crunchy. So we're going to leave it at that. Now the back burner seems to be really high with these potatoes here, so I'm going to turn that down a bit. The corn maybe down one as well. I'm still learning this stove, even though I've lived here for a few months now. It's kind of, I don't know, tough to get used to. With some things, it's boiling only at 8. These guys, it's 5 and 6 now, so we'll just leave it as it is. All right, so that was our second alarm, and let's check on these things. We have our corn here, of course, and then we also have the potatoes. So let's just get that pricker right out and see. Oh yeah, you can definitely feel that these are like, oh, well, let's go right through the middle. Oh yeah, they're totally done. So we're just going to turn off the entire stove because all of this is going to be completely done. So now what we're going to do is take out the water and then prepare these. And while we're doing that, we can start heating up this pan. So let's go ahead and heat this one to like 5. I'm also going to put in some oil in the pan for the steaks. I have butter in there, as you see, and let's add a little bit of oil because I like the mix. It's a nice flavor. Okay, first we're just going to put our corn through the colander here. This just gets out the water, and then we can just dump it right back in. No big deal. I try to mess up a minimum number of pots when I'm doing stuff. Now you can either rinse the colander or just leave it as it is. We're just going to put those potatoes through here as well. Actually, we may not even need to. Haha! Okay, a couple of them are spilling out, but we can just help them right back in. As you can see, on some of them, the skins have split, and that's another indicator that they're getting kind of cooked. Now our pan is still heating up, the one for the steaks, so we're just going to leave that to its duties there. And I'm going to get out our butter here. This is just regular butter, and I'm going to put butter in the corn and in the potatoes. Oopsies. It's getting a little bit slippery on me here. I like to break it up into decent sized pieces and then cover it with the corn or the potatoes so that it melts a little bit better. So this big chunk, I'm going to end up putting the entire thing in here, but I'm breaking it up into small pieces so that it can melt a little bit better. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on top of this one. Actually, on both of them is a good idea, just to let that butter melt and have a good time in there. And then I'm going to grab the dill. And we can actually add the dill to the potatoes right now. So all that dill gets just dumped on the potatoes. And we can mix it up a little bit so that the potatoes all get covered by this dill. So I have just a regular spoon. You can use whatever kind you want if you prefer wooden or plastic. I'm using like a plastic serving spoon right now. So the idea is that we won't have to wash an extra spoon and we can just use this for these potatoes. So it looks like the dill is kind of coating them nicely because we have the glue of butter on them right now. So let's leave these in the pan right now, or in the pot, and keep them warm while we're cooking our steaks. Now I'm going ahead and turning this pan onto level 7. I was told not to go above that with this particular pan because it is a nice pan, and they said it's not good for the coating and stuff like that. But you can see the oil already is starting to bubble. Induction stoves are really fast, so we can actually start to put these steaks in the pan. Let me just make sure that it's all mixed up, all the butter and all the oil and stuff. And it's looking pretty good for being able to put these steaks in there. All right, so what we're looking to do is just sear them on one side. And that's going to be a very quick business. Now, we don't want to cover them at all. We just want to leave them to do their thing. Now, it doesn't take steaks very long to cook. As you can see, we're already starting to get a little bit of color on the sides. So we probably, once that color kind of reaches the top, we're going to want to, or actually maybe right now, we're going to flip it over. and get the other side going. There we go, looking good. Again, the important part of this process is to make sure that the side is seared. And you can see these little bronzing marks. That's a good sign of searing. And what that does is it kind of glues the cells of the meat so that they lock in all of the juices into the steak. And we want to have that to have a really nice and juicy steak. And this one is having some issues because there's a little bit of pinkness on the side here. I'm going to try to kind of put that near the side of the pan and sort of touch that up with pan side service. All right, so now I'm pressing down on these steaks and you can see a little bit of red juice is coming out. That means the steaks are done. So we're going to turn this off. There we go. And I'm going to get out a plate and we're going to just put it on the plate. All right, there we go. There's our steak. All right, so the steak is on the plate. Now we can serve ourselves the rest of the stuff. I usually use the same spoon for both vegetables, and that's because there's no meat in any of these. If you don't have meat, you're not in danger of like contaminating the other vegetables. But if you're spooning out meat versus veg, I would do 2 different spoons. So here we are with our lovely dill potatoes. Now, these guys, as they've been in the pot, you can see there's some steam going on here. Maybe you can see the steam, I don't know, but they smell heavenly. And what that's doing is that it's kind of like making the dill sort of bloom and let out more flavor. I think that's enough. That seems okay. All right, excellent. And then as always, you're going to want to move those pots off the burners while you go enjoy your dinner. Okay, so we're going to try this. I am really anxious because this is one of my favorite meals to have. What I usually do with the potatoes, just FYI, and I can't really show you, I guess I need a second camera here for this, is I get my knife and I just gently quarter the potatoes. That way you just get a little lump of potato to eat while you're having other things. And so that's very convenient. So I'm going to try the steak first. Now I've pre-sliced a couple of pieces so it wouldn't take time. And look at this. Oh my goodness. This is absolutely perfect cooking. It looks amazing. So let's taste this. Praise the holy fuzzy cats. I swear this is good. Oh my. This is really, really good. I can really taste a lot of pepper flavor because remember at the beginning we did douse this thing in pepper. The amount of salt, I could have actually added a little bit more salt, even though it felt like when I was adding the salt, it felt like a lot of salt. But this is, it could have a tiny bit more to maybe balance out that pepper. Let's try one of the potatoes. As you can see, we have a little quarter of a potato here with the dill on the outside. Okay, I gotta tell you a tiny story. I told Matthias this. So I am terrible about cooking for myself. I know that sounds like strange that I have a cooking show, but like, I feel like it's a waste of time to cook because I feel like if you know, he's not here to share dinner with me, we have kind of different schedules and he eats at work usually and doesn't eat when he comes home. And so it's me basically cooking for myself. And though I get the opportunities of leftovers, it still feels like a waste of time. So I told him, I said, I must be the only person who invented a cooking show just to like eat okay. So I don't have to have like ramen and other junk foods like that. Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, I did. Those are the days I eat well is when I record a cooking show. And though, you know, I look back at the recordings and it really doesn't take a very, very long time, like especially this meal. You can set it up and let it boil, let the veggies boil, and the meat is really quick at the end. And there's like almost no preparation. You do a little bit of salting, and then the only thing you cut is the dill. That's it. You don't have to like chop a bunch of vegetables or anything. So this is a super, super quick thing. And you have the 20 minutes in between, which I did it 10 and 10, but you can do just 20 minutes because I wasn't sure. So I was just testing. But now we know it's 20 minutes to cook the potatoes and the corn. And you have that time to do whatever you want. I mean, I could be practicing a game, or I could be doing something else for my job and things like that. Or you, like I said before, you could be doing dishes or chatting with your kids, patting your cat. Emma came by a little bit earlier and was just so wanting some love. So I patted her for a bit. Oh, we haven't gotten to the corn yet. So here's some corn. Oh, I forgot one thing. We buttered the corn, but we did not salt it. And I don't think we mixed it either. So remember to salt your corn when you take it out, because that's always nice. Corn tastes so amazing just with a little bit of salt and a little bit of butter. It's really, really nice. Let's have another piece of this meat here. This is really, really good steak. And like I said, I always cook it rare because it just, you get flavor in the meat. Like when I was young, my mom always ordered it for me, well done, and I was afraid to have rare steak. Oh my God, it's hard. No, it's not horrible. The well done steak is horrible because it tastes like cardboard. But when you have the natural meat, it is so flavorful and so good. This meal is kind of amazing, and it's so super quick to cook as well. Now, another side thing that we can do another time, we have something in Sweden called leaf steaks. Now, I've never actually cooked this, but I've asked Matthias how to cook them. He is such a cooking whiz, but he doesn't want to come on the show because he's a Swede. I'll explain that. I have asked numerous Swedes to come on my show and like promote their business, because I want to just tell people about where I live and show people from all over the Stockholm area and all over the world what cool stuff we have here in Sweden. So I've asked numerous people who own businesses and stuff, and they're like, oh no, no. And I asked Matthias, no, can't. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to push you into it, but I just got to know why. Well, I just don't want to. Like, huh? What is it? Are you too shy, or you're just, well, I just don't want to. Okay. So I call it being a Swede because I think it's probably part jantelagen, part something else, being maybe a little bit either shy or not wanting to be on YouTube. There's that. I don't know if I don't think it's a privacy concern. I think it's just doesn't want to be on YouTube for whatever reason. But he's an amazing cook, and hopefully one day I'll convince him maybe to do a video with me, because he really teaches me a lot about cooking. When I was young, my mom didn't know how to cook very well, but she could cook a lot of Polish dishes, and she did. But we didn't have them often. We had them like at Christmas. And so we were just eating like regular stuff. Like some of the things you do see me cook on this channel, like we had the fajitas. We've never cooked tacos in my family ever. I learned how to do that in Norway from my best bud. We have his tacos on here with bacon. Oh my God. So check out those videos. But yeah, Matthias has taught me so much about cooking, and it's really improved my life a lot, because I always loved sauces and gravies and things like that, and my mom never cooked them. She like got it out of a tin can, and they're like not great. They taste like tin. It's horrible. But Matthias has taught me how to make those gravies here, and so I'm really looking forward to sharing more of those recipes with you. And remember, I am the only YouTube chef person who like did it because she wants to eat well occasionally. But I promise I will try to cook. Oh, hello. Okay, we have a visitor. Meow meow. Meow meow, she says. This is my Emma. Right here, right in the person, in the fluff, in the fluff. In the whiskers. I love this cat so much. I love both my girls. I have Eleonora and Emma. And you're a little baby. Hello, you don't get held this way, do you? You want to be held properly, don't you? She's feeling weird, so let's hold her properly. There we go. This is a definitely more civilized cat position to be in. Yes, you're on TV, cat. Enjoy it. So anyway, I am going to finish my dinner, and I hope that you have a successful dinner as well. As always, if you want me to try different recipes, perhaps from your country, do let me know. You can send me a link either in email or instructions, whatever. Maybe you want to share your family recipe with the world. Do let me know, and I will be happy to try and cook it. I'm always looking to expand my horizons. I really love trying new foods and stuff. So thank you so very much for joining me. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you next time. Vamos,